Hey friends, and welcome to this new video. Today we finally have official news about Poppy Playtime Chapter 5. This time, we're not just talking about theories or speculation, but about real information coming directly from Mob Entertainment. In this video, we'll talk about a very important message written on Discord by Amber, the official artist of Mob Entertainment. A message that I'll show you directly and that clearly confirms that something important is coming already next week. But that's not all, because on top of this, we also have news coming from one of Mob Entertainment's developers. This developer published a post that hides some very interesting clues about the possible release date of Poppy Playtime Chapter 5. We'll analyze the content of this post together, trying to understand whether it's just a simple message or something much more carefully planned. So, in this video we'll do several things. We'll look at the official news. We'll analyze the developer's statements. And as always, we'll connect all the details to build solid theories without throwing random guesses around. There are signals, suspicious timings, and phrases that might not be casual at all. Before getting into the main part though, I ask you as always to leave a like on the video if you love Poppy Playtime, and if you want to keep seeing updated content about news and theories, subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell, because in the next few days, more extremely important updates might arrive. That being said, I think we can start right away, because there's really a lot to see, a lot to analyze, and many interesting things to talk about. Let's go and see what's happening behind the scenes of Poppy Playtime. Chapter 5. Now let's start with the official messages written by Amber, because there is something very important to clarify here. As I said before, Amber is the official artist of Mob Entertainment. She is also the artist who created the Christmas artwork of Poppy Playtime that we analyzed together yesterday, so we already know her way of communicating through images very well. On Discord, some users asked her a very direct question, and in my opinion, not a random one at all. They asked her if there will be another artwork for New Year's Eve, and especially if this new artwork will contain secrets, just like the Christmas one. Amber confirmed both things. She confirmed that a new official artwork will be released on New Year's Eve, and she also confirmed that there will be secrets hidden inside this image. This is huge news, because it means that a new official Poppy Playtime image has just been confirmed. And as we already know from previous cases, these artworks created by Amber are not simple festive themed images. They are not just nice illustrations made to celebrate a holiday. On the contrary, they are images carefully designed down to the smallest detail, often containing clues, Easter eggs, and real previews connected to the upcoming chapter. For this exact reason, these artworks are often considered by the community as real official teasers. Mob Entertainment uses them in a very clever way. On the surface, they look like festive images, but in reality they hide crucial information for those who know where to look. This has already happened in the past, and everything suggests it will happen again this time. So for this New Year's Eve, we should expect an artwork featuring several characters from the saga, but with some hidden details that will most likely be directly connected to Poppy Playtime Chapter 5. Every object in the background, every expression, every symbol could have a precise meaning. And as always, when the image is released, we will analyze it frame by frame, because it's exactly through these small details that Mob Entertainment has always teased major reveals. And this already tells us one very clear thing. The marketing for Chapter 5 has officially started, and it is doing so in the most subtle and interesting way possible. Now let's talk about another very important detail, which this time does not come from an artist, but directly from a developer of the Mob Entertainment team. We are talking about a post written by Jeffrey Kung, a key figure in the development of Poppy Playtime. For those who don't know, Jeffrey Kung is the lead level designer of Poppy Playtime. This means he is the person responsible for the design of the game's levels, so how the maps are structured, how the player moves through the environments, and above all, how the various tasks and mechanics are designed in order to progress in the game. Basically, the pacing, exploration, and a big part of the gameplay experience depend on his work. About 1 week ago, Jeffrey Kung published a very interesting post on LinkedIn. In the post, Jeffrey said that the game is coming together. This sentence alone is already very important, because it indicates that the main foundations of Chapter 5 are now well defined. But the part that really fueled the theories is the final sentence of the post, where it says, "Just a little more to go." This is not a random expression. It is a phrase that is usually used when you are close to the finish line, but there is still something left to do before the work can be considered complete. it does not mean that development is finished, but it clearly means that the heaviest part of the work is probably already behind them. This detail is extremely important because it tells us that we are not yet in the final stage of development, but we are getting closer and closer. And if the lead level designer talks like this, it often means that the maps are almost complete, that the main mechanics are working, and that the team is now refining, testing, and polishing what has already been built. From this post, several theories about the possible release window of Poppy Playtime Chapter 5 have emerged. According to some theories, the game could arrive in about 3 months, while others believe that May could be the most likely month. Of course, these are still theories, but one thing is quite clear: we are not talking about a very long wait. This message, even if it does not confirm an official release date, indirectly confirms that we won't have to wait many months. And if we connect this post with the news we talked about earlier, such as the teaser artworks and the official messages, the picture starts to become much clearer. Mob Entertainment is preparing the ground, and Poppy Playtime Chapter 5 seems to be much closer than we thought. Staying on Jeffrey Kung's LinkedIn profile, we can find other very important information that directly concerns the development of Poppy Playtime Chapter 5. Information that at first glance might seem purely technical, but that actually helps us better understand the timing and development phases of the game. On his LinkedIn profile, in fact, we can read that Jeffrey Kung started working as lead-level designer at Mob Entertainment about 8 months ago, so in May 2025. This detail, in my opinion, is far from trivial. On the contrary, it could be a key element to understand how the development of Chapter 5 has evolved over the years. As we remember, Zach, the CEO of Mob Entertainment, stated in the past that Poppy Playtime Chapter 5 has been in development for about 5 years. This statement is true, but it must be interpreted correctly. In fact, we have to consider something very important. During these 5 years, the development team did not work exclusively on Chapter 5. During the same period, the previous chapters were also developed and released. And obviously they had absolute priority because they had to come out first and meet specific deadlines. This means that, at least initially, the development of Chapter 5 could not be complete or at full capacity. Most likely, for several years, the work on Chapter 5 was focused on more conceptual and preparatory elements, such as story writing, storyboards, character creation, lore, and maybe even some preliminary 3D models or internal concepts. The fact that Jeffrey Kung joined Mob Entertainment as lead-level designer only 8 months ago suggests something very clear. Only relatively recently did the real level design phase of Chapter 5 begin. And this is extremely important, because level design is one of the most complex and fundamental parts of a video game. It is the moment when all theoretical ideas are transformed into playable environments, paths, puzzles, narrative sequences, and moments of tension. So we can hypothesize that before 8 months ago, the development was more limited, perhaps focused on defining what Chapter 5 should be at a narrative and visual level, and only later, once the work on the previous chapters was completed. Thank you so much for watching the video until the end. You are amazing. Let me know in the comments what you think about this. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell for the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.